Hello and welcome to Total Health with Dr. Nick, where if you're new to my channel, my purpose is to inspire, empower, and motivate you to live longer, healthier, and more abundant lives. And today's video is really one I've been wanting to do for a while because I really want to work on your mindset when it comes to this coronavirus or COVID-19. So this is something I've been really chomping at the bit to do because right now the world is in a full-blown panic, right? You know it. Wherever you live, wherever part of the world that you're in, you know your country is in fear. And believe me, I get that. I get that this is something that really can put fear in all of us. But what I want to do today is to give you some new mindset, some new way of looking at it. Enough with this victim mentality and let's get with the victor mentality, all right? So enough with this fear. My purpose today is to start to give you some faith and show you some different mindsets that we can do to look at this and change our perception of really how we deal with it. So really you want to watch to the end because I've got 3 secrets or 3 ways, 3 paradigm shifts that I want to tell you about to really change how we look at this. And I think we're going to come out a whole lot more victorious when it comes to dealing with the coronavirus. So like I said, watch to the end so you can get all these different tips. And if you like what I'm talking about, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you click that little bell notification so you get notified anytime I come on the air. In some of my past videos, I talked about how to bulletproof your immune system and really what the coronavirus is about and how you can beat it. But here's the thing. That's not what I'm going to talk about today. Today's really more about getting this right here. So today, in doctor terms, you're about to get a checkup from the neck up, all right? So let's dive on into the first thing I want to talk about. So the first thing I want to do is start to put things in perspective. At the time I'm doing this video, and this is March 25th, 2020, the United States has roughly 327 million people. And that's a lot of people, not as much as maybe China or India, but it's still a lot of people. The amount of cases that we see right now is 69,018. Give or take, okay? So like I said, by the time I do this video or end this video, it's going to change. In fact, we know this number is going to go up. Why? Because people are being tested now. So we expect case numbers to go up. Don't be alarmed if you see that. In fact, there's estimates that say roughly 40 to 70% of our population will be walking around with it. And by the way, just to give you an idea how much that is, when we were dealing with the swine flu, and that was back in 2009, roughly 60 million were infected with it. So there was a lot of people that were exposed to it back then also. So this is not new numbers. Yes, this does move pretty quickly, but yet the amount of cases is not that bad, considering the fact of the size of the United States. So if you look at the amount of cases, and then you divide that by the population of the United States, 327 million, you get 0.00021. Okay, 4 zeros and a 2-1. To give you an idea how much that is or how little that is, that's right here is a 10. So that's right here is 1%. That's 100. This is 2.1. This is 2.1 thousandths of a percent. Okay, let me repeat that. 2.1 thousandths of a percent. So that's not even a tenth of a percent, 100th of a percent. That's a thousandth of a percent, guys. So like I said, I'm not trying to minimize this. I just want you to put it into perspective. The amount of cases right now, and that, like I said, is going to go up. And it might even triple, but that's not a big deal. When we're looking at the actual percentages of the United States, it's a very low number. So all I'm saying is you have a very low chance of actually getting it. Now, if we talk about the amount of deaths, as of now, it's 1,042 deaths. Now, just so you know, I want to make sure I'm clear on this because I don't want to get any haters. I'm not saying that 1,042 lives, souls aren't worth it. Believe me, one is worth it. But when you put things in perspective and you look at the amount of deaths, once again, divided by the population of the United States, it's 0.000032. So that's now a 10,000th of a percent. So the chance of you dying from this is 3.2 10,000ths of a percent. Not even 1%, guys. So you have like a 99.999999 chance of never getting this or dying from it. So like I said, I'm not trying to minimize it, but I'm just trying to put things into perspective so you can maybe come off the ledge a little bit. Because I'll tell you, I have patients coming in my office every single day who I would never think would start to worry about things. They're always very level-headed. And they come in and they're like, Dr. Nick, I'm freaking out about this a little bit. So unfortunately, I spend a large part of my day really kind of talking people off the ledge a little bit. And that's okay, because that's what I'm here for. I work on the mind as well as the body. It's a mind-body connection we deal with. But anyway, getting back to this, just put it in perspective, okay? Now, from there, let's look at some different mindsets here. The first thing I want to talk about is how to really manage your energy and your frequency. Now, what am I talking about here? Is this some kind of woo-woo stuff, Dr. Nick? No, it's not woo-woo, but there is energy and frequency to the body. We all know that. In fact, there's frequency to chairs. There's a frequency to a plant. There's a frequency to your body. There's a frequency to birds. Everything has a frequency. Everything is made of energy. So everything has frequencies, okay? So understand that. So the higher we can keep our frequency, the better off we are. Manage your energy states. That's number one thing I want you to start doing, is really look into how you're managing your energy or your frequency of your body. Why? Because a lower frequency body becomes diseased. Okay, you want to keep your frequency of your cells up. The lower your frequency goes, you know it. You start to get sick, you start to get colds, you start to get stressed. When you get stressed, it brings your frequency down. The way your thoughts are thinking. If you're thinking negative thoughts, oh, I'm probably going to get sick, I'm probably going to catch a cold, I'm probably going to get this, that's probably not going to work out, or this is probably going to happen to me. That's bringing your energy frequency down. Don't do that. Don't talk negative about yourself, okay? The world's going to do it enough. You need to stop doing that. And sorry about a little tough love, but this is the truth. Don't ever talk negative about yourself. Don't ever wish anything on yourself. I tell my kids all the time, if they say something like that, I'll say, you better delete that right now. Delete it right now. Don't say that about yourself. So, number one, to boost energy, let's look at the foods you're eating. You all know the kind of foods that you eat that maybe you shouldn't be eating, that bring your energy levels down. You know foods that you eat that bring your energy levels up. You feel vibrant after you have that green salad, or after you have those healthy fats. After that pizza, or after that sub sandwich, you start to feel like junk a little bit, and you know it. After that big dish of nachos, all like goopy, greasy, not so good meats on it and cheeses on it, maybe, as I call it, dirty keto foods, you know you don't feel good. You want to fall asleep after that. That brings your energy level down. So do things to manage your energy states and your frequency by increasing the quality of your foods. Not only that, movement. Think about this. One of the fastest ways to get out of a negative state is start moving. Do some jumping jacks. Do some push-ups. Do something. Get moving. Get active. Get out. Go jog. You go for a jog. You come back. You feel great, right? Maybe you didn't want to go out at first, but you're glad you did when you come back. All these different things change your state, change your energy. You watch pitchers, or you watch baseball players, or any kind of athlete. They go through rituals. They go through certain movements. And those movements, maybe it means, I used to watch players, they used to string their racket a little bit, and they used to tap their racket on their hand 3 times, or they used to tap it on their foot. Baseball players go through a ritual, how they swing the bat, Then they pull up maybe their shoulders a little bit like this and fix their jersey. Everybody goes through rituals. Those movements change their state. Tony Robbins, one of the most amazing motivational speakers, goes through a certain ritual before he walks out on stage. He taps himself in a certain way. He anchors his state. He anchors a state to where he remembers when he was at peak performance, and then he anchors it by touching himself in a certain way. And you might know that in a negative way. Maybe, the way your dad used to grab you by the shoulder when you were about to get reprimanded or something, and not such a good way. Now if somebody touches your shoulder and you flinch back, or maybe you had an abusive situation where if somebody touched you in a certain way, you cringe. Now if anybody touches you that same way, you've anchored that. So by anchoring things, you can change your state, change your energy. We'll anchor things in a positive way to where you're empowered. That's what you need to do. Fitness, you know it. You start working out, you're feeling great. One of the best things you could do to oxygenate yourself, to help your body move, there's a cerebral spinal pump, where there's a pump that moves your cerebral spinal fluid from your brain down to your tailbone, up and down and up and down. That happens with movement, muscular movement, spinal movement. So by moving, you get rid of depression. You change your state. You know it. You get moving, all of a sudden you're active, you're feeling good again, right? Nerves. We deal with that all the time as a chiropractor. We know your nerves are carrying your life force, your energy. When there's a blockage in a nerve to where you're shutting it down, I always tell my patients, what would happen if I cut the nerves to your heart? Not that I would ever do that, but if you cut the nerves to the heart dies. It dies. I don't care where you live in the world. You cut the nerves, the heart stops. It's going to stop. But what if you pinch the nerves? Well, if you pinch the nerves, it's stopping over time. It's just going to continually go until it eventually dies out, but it's going to stop too. You can't pinch something off and block it and expect to have 100% life to it. So when you pinch off nerves and you cause your life force to be interfered with or blocked, now you start to develop disease in those areas too. I always tell patients, if you took your hands like this and put a tourniquet around one hand or a rope and left the other one fine, one hand's going to start to die off. The other one can be right next to it, but this one's going to start to die off and get eaten by bugs and bacteria and decompose and rot and all that kind of gross stuff. Why? Because you're blocking life force. You're blocking the frequency. You're blocking the energy. This hand's going to be fine, even though bacteria could jump over to the other side. It doesn't matter. This one still has life force flowing through it. This one here is starting to choke off and die. When that happens, the frequency goes down. When the frequency goes down of your cells, they now send out a signal that they are bacteria food. They are worm food. And that's how this all works. When cells start to die and go down in frequency, that's when disease and fungus and mold and bacteria and viruses can take over. So you want to keep your energy levels up. And like I said, last but not least, it's your thoughts. Your thoughts are going to dictate how you do. I always like to say the saying, I am powerful, I am productive, I am victorious, I am a good healer. I am this, I am that. When you say I am, it's a biblical term. In the Bible, it talks about God saying, I am the great I am. When Moses said, who are you? Who should I tell my people you are? I am. You tell them, I am, I am. And so when you say I am, you're linking yourself to the power that makes you, the power of being. When you say I am, whatever you say after that is going to follow you. So if you say I am stupid, I am fat, I am lazy, I am ugly, I am weak, I am going to get sick, I am going to get the coronavirus, I think I'm going to get it. No. Delete, right? Delete. Like I tell my kids, don't ever say that, because whatever you say after I am is coming to follow you. All right? It's coming after you. So make sure you always say something empowering after I am. That's the key here. Keeping up with this thought consciousness, I want to talk to you now about collective consciousness. Now, this is something that is huge, because right now there is a massive collective consciousness going around the world. If not your state or your country or your town, it is all the way around the world right now. And this collective consciousness is the way people think. So, by definition, collective consciousness refers to the set of shared beliefs, ideas, attitudes, and knowledge that are common to a social group or society. It is the way everybody is thinking right now. And how's everybody thinking? They're in fear mode, right? Oh my gosh, if I come near someone with the coronavirus, I have to be within 6 feet. If somebody sneezes somewhere in a room, I could get it. What if they touch something? If they touch something and I brush up against it, I can get it. Oh my gosh. And believe me, I know I'm not trying to minimize, I'm not trying to make fun of, nothing like that. But when everybody's in fear mode, what's happening to your energy? It's going down. What are you starting to do? You're going to start to attract it. You're going to start to attract negative things happening to you. Have you ever heard of things happening in threes? Well, they kind of do. Why? Because once you stub your toe, next thing you know, you're going to spill some milk on the counter or your coffee, and next thing you know, you're going to lock your keys in the car. I always say, I have to get out of a negative mood fast, because as soon as I'm in that negative mood, I'm going to start attracting more negative stuff. So we have to change the collective consciousness of the world. Now, how do you do it? Start with you. You're not going to change it. And I'd love to say that I'm going to change it to everybody. In fact, if you're watching this video, I would love it if you shared it out to everybody that you know and told them, because they need to hear this information right now. I would love for this video to go so viral that everybody in the world, or close to it, a couple of billion, watch it. I would love that. So let's do it, right? But let's change the collective consciousness of you first. You, then you work with your family. You know, I love to be, as I say, the lighthouse or the anchor of my family. That's my purpose. I want to always be the voice of reason with my family. So when, you know, one of my kids is saying, hey, Dad, what's going on? I see this in the news. Hey, listen, God's in control. Don't worry about this. We've got this. We will get through this, and we will get through this. But when the collective consciousness is, I'm going to get sick, I have to avoid people because, and by the way, let me give you a little bit of news flash here. You probably already have coronavirus, okay? You probably already have it. Most people are going to test positive for it. Well, maybe not most, but a lot. Does that mean you're sick? No. You might have it and not even know about it. You might even test positive for tuberculosis and not even know about it. You might test positive for swine flu and not even know about it. Why? Because your body's dealing with it. If we tested most people, we would also see they have cancer cells inside of them. Does that mean they have cancer? No. It just means your body's dealing with it. It's keeping those cells at bay. Your body's fighting it. That's all. So let's keep that collective consciousness to where you're a victor, not a victim. That you're in faith, not in fear. Okay? And the last thing I want to talk to you about is herd immunity. Right? Have you heard about that? Okay, no pun on words. But herd immunity. What herd immunity is this? A form of indirect protection from infectious disease that occurs when a large percentage of a population has become immune to an infection, thereby providing a measure of protection for individuals who are not. So in a nutshell, the more people who are immune to a virus or who've been exposed to it and build up an immunity will protect everybody else. Okay, now this is something that's maybe new to a lot of you. So how does this work? Well, you have two groups of people, right? This is kind of like what we're experiencing now. You've got the people who need to be quarantined and the people who don't need to be quarantined. Kind of the same thing. So over here you have not immunized, but these are sick and contagious people, meaning they don't have an immunity to it yet. Now, let me tell you how you can get an immunity. Does that mean you just have to get the shot? Because Dr. Nick, right now, as far as I know, there's no shot for this. You don't need a shot to get immunity to something. God blessed you with an immune system, and it's designed that whenever you're exposed to something, a virus, a bacteria, a pathogen, it makes antibodies. Your body's designed and equipped to fight things. But Dr. Nick, this is new. This is a new coronavirus. I get it, but your body's still designed and equipped to fight things. As soon as it builds up an immunity, you're done. You're immune to it now. I guarantee you there's plenty of you walking around, like I said in one of the previous slides, that already has the coronavirus, but you never knew about it. You fought it a month ago. What? Yeah, you probably had it a month ago. You got over it. You had a little bit of cough, a little bit of sniffles. Not everybody ends up in the hospital. One of the things, and I want to be clear about this, one of the things I mentioned on one of my previous videos is that most of you have it, would never even know it. You might have a cough, a cold, a sniffle, feel like you have the flu, no big deal, you get over it, maybe the common cold it feels like. But if you're walking around and you're now suffering to breathe, you need to get to the hospital. You need to get to your doctor. If you have breathing difficulties, because that's really where it affects, it causes a lot of inflammation in the lungs to where the oxygen cannot get transferred back and forth from the alveoli into the capillaries. So if that's going on and you can't breathe, you feel like you're underwater, you get to the hospital and a doctor. But most of you are walking around with this and not even realizing it's just a cold or a flu or a little sniffle. That's it. You just built up immunity to it. Now you're immune. Just like that, just because you were exposed to it. That's how amazing God created our bodies. So this group over here is not immunized, but they're healthy individuals. Over here, these might be your sickened individuals. Like I said, this group over here might be the ones with compromised immune systems, respiratory issues. Okay, they maybe already have respiratory problems. That's this group. This group over here, healthy people. So now you notice we've got some sick people moving in over here. And then we've got some healthy people over here. Next thing that happens is now you've got some of these yellow people. So from the blue and the red, now we have some yellow. Now we have healthy immunized people. And these healthy immunized people are now mixing in with the group. So now you're starting to get people who are getting exposed, but who are healthy, who now build up an immunity. And these people are also mixing in with the sick group. This keeps going on and keeps going on. And next thing you know, now you have a lot more of the healthy immunized people. Okay, right here, immunized and healthy. So they're walking around having already had the disease, dealt with it, built up the antibodies to it, and they're walking around in the general population, don't even know it, and yet they're causing the overall population of people, herd immunity, to become stronger, to where you actually start preventing disease more when more people have now built up an immunity to it, right? Now, you're not going to hear that anywhere else. You're not going to hear it in the news because everything is doom and gloom. Everything is the sky is falling, and believe me, I know, I live in the United States. There are certain states that have larger populations than others. I get that. But even at that, I think what we need to be doing right now is getting back out into our communities more again. By doing that, we will start to immunize our entire country. Because here's what I found. I was watching the news this morning because I like to keep up and see what's going on. Why is it so important that we do this? Because they're saying that some of these sub-African countries are going to get it again and spread it around again. They're saying that some of these populations are going to spread this virus around again. So we need to get immunity to it. Because if it comes around again, I don't need something like this happening again where we are closing down countries to where it wrecks economies and causes people to become sick. I'd rather get people immunized to it by herd immunization, okay? So guys, I hope this makes sense to you. If so, let's get out. Let's get out into the public a little bit. Now, I'm not trying to be irresponsible, but I'm thinking if we start to get out and people start to get exposed a little bit more, we're going to all be a lot healthier for it. My prayer for you is this: that is a collective consciousness of the world, that we start to realize that we are victors, not victims, that we can be in faith, not in fear, and that we can beat this, that God designed our body's immune systems to be strong, to be powerful. If we do all the things I've been talking about, and like I said, go back and watch some of my previous videos where I talk about bulletproofing your immune system, we can beat this. And you know what? We'll beat it again if it comes around again. So let's do this, all right, guys? I love and appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Hey, don't go away. Make sure you watch some of my other videos too. If you like this one, you're going to like those too. Trust me on that. Anyways, this is Dr. Nick. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.